because this was a real event. Yes. And this is one where like my brain goes to like the ritualistic things that basically my brain auto corrects that all the ritualistic things that the rich do is correct because Alex Jones went and found one and took actual video evidence of some kind of weird ritual. That's not the right one. Alex Jones ritual video. Maybe we can find it here. Dark secrets inside Bohemia Grove. Satanic ritual footage. Secret meeting Illuminati. I mean, that does sound exactly like what I'm talking, the video I'm talking about. So let's see. This one is real and documented, unlike the pizza claims. Let me give you the straight story. All right, here we go. Yes, this one. Oh, well, before we start, I gotta start changing what I talk about. No longer Pizzagate. Pizzagate was false. Just like I originally thought. Here we go. So, we are looking at Alex Jones' video. Did he find some kind of satanic ritual? Yes, this one actually happened, and it's documented in mainstream sources, not just conspiracy channels. So unlike the pizza claims, there's real evidence at the center. The trick is separating the real evidence from the narration Jones layers on top of it. So he's not going to tell the truth about what he found. Let's see what he says, and then we're going to watch the video. What is it? In July 2000, Alex Jones and a cameraman snuck into Bohemian Grove, a 2,700-acre private retreat in Monte Rio, California, owned by the Bohemia Club, an invitation-only men's club founded in San Francisco in 1872. It's genuinely an elite institution. Its members had long skewed towards the richest and most powerful men in the U.S., and confirmed attendees over the years include President Nixon, Eisenhower, Reagan, both Bushes, and as ProPublica reported in 2023, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thompson had been attending for decades. So the basic premise, powerful people gathered here in secret, is true. Jones filmed the cremation of care ceremony with a hidden camera, and it became the centerpiece of his documentary Dark Tides Inside Bohemian Grove. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's have a look at the video.
I tell you, it's beautiful out here during the day, but it is spooky at night. I don't know if you guys got some footage of it, and all the fog and the rest of it.
Okay, that's not.
So are you excited?
Oh yeah, I really want to.
Okay, this is not the clip I was thinking it was. Let's see if the AI provides us with it. Near the end, we got a link. Hopefully that's it. What the ceremony actually is, this is where Jones' framing and reality diverge. The cremation of care is an annual ritual production written, produced, and performed by club members. Staged on the first night of the encampment in front of a 40-foot in front of a 40-foot owl statue at a small lake. It dates back to the late 1800s and is allegorically banished Brandishing of worldly cares. Allegorically banishing of worldly cares. Symbolically setting aside the members' worries so they can relax for the retreat. An effigy representing care, sometimes dull care, is theoretically burned. The owl statue isn't a solid symbol, it's a moss covered shell that houses electrical and audio equipment, and for years the recorded voice of the owl was provided by news anchor Walter Cronkite. That detail alone tells you a lot about the register of the thing. A 40-foot owl. So the owl statue is basically the housing for like the camera and audio equipment that's used to record. So you telling me that these rituals have all been recorded? The cremation of care. Like, can you watch them? So you're telling me that these cremations of care have all been recorded? Can you watch them? Where? Like the clips he shows makes it look Alex Jones shows makes it look like a crazy conspiracy, right? Where were we? What the ceremony actually is. Okay, the key point about the sacrifice. Here's the part worth sitting with. Even Jones's own film describes the human as being sacrificed in effigy. In effigy means a dummy or symbolic standing in is burned, not a person. So the most lurid version of the story, an actual human or child being killed, is contradicted by the footage itself and by the people promoting it. What the camera caught was theater, consume men, pyrotechnics, and a burning effigy. Mainstream coverage, including journalist John Ronson, who also visited the Grove and wrote about it in his book, Them and the Channel 4 series Secret Rulers of the World, described the same images as a theoretical, symbolic ritual, essentially an overgrown private frat party. Jones framed it as an occult sacrifice and ancient Luciferian rite. Other reporters who saw the same footage read it as scripted paganry. Let me correct one thing because I don't want to leave you with the wrong impression. I didn't mean the ceremonies have all been recorded. They haven't. Let me make sure you have the accurate picture of the footage actually existing. Right. To be clear, I didn't mean they haven't, just that the opposite. The reason the Jones footage became famous is that recordings are rare. The club is private, the property is guarded, and recording is not permitted. So what actually goes on there is contested precisely because there's very little actual footage. The ceremony has been performed annually for about 140 years, but there's no archive of these performances. Okay. Then what was the whole thing about the owl statue? Like, first night of the camp in front of a 40-foot owl statue at the small. That's very ritualistic. I mean, this does have the hallmarks of a frat party kind of gone crazy. So there was no actual person sacrifice. Okay. The owl, for what it's worth, is the club's long-standing mascot, an emblem of wisdom. Minerva's owl. Conspiracy interpretations link it to Moloch or Baal, but there's no evidence the club uses it as anything other than its symbol, the way a university might have a mascot, which generally worth being unsettled by. I don't want to wave the whole thing away because there's a real critique buried under the satanic panic version. A secretive, all-male club where presidents, justices, and billionaires gather privately with no public accountability is a legitimate thing to find concerning for reasons of influence, access, and democratic transparency, not the supernatural. Even Nixon, a member, was caught on the White House tapes describing the place in crude and contemptuous terms. The substantive concern is concentrating elite power behind closed doors, which is a normal thing to scrutinize. The leap to they're conducting real occult human sacrifices and secretly running the world is the part the evidence doesn't support. There's so dark secrets inside Bohemian Grove. Like something tells me I'm not going to be able to watch this, like probably copyrighted, but I might put this, how long? 2 hours and 2 minutes. Okay, I might watch that later. Just take this, the bookmark bar, done. But that's amusing. you can go watch that still. That was not helpful. I genuinely suggest watching it alongside John Ronson's account of visiting the same place. Ronson is a journalist who went in skeptical of the hype and described what he saw plainly, which makes for a useful comparison. When you watch the Johnson's film, a good test is to separate two tracks: the images, what the camera actually shows, consumes, costumes and effigy, fireworks, and the narration, what John tells you those images mean. The images are real, the narration is interpretation, and a lot of it goes well past what the footage can actually support. So basically, all the conspiracy theories I was hyped up about are false, which sucks. And they all just resurfaced because the Epstein one was real. Like, that one was real. And so now you got a bunch of other conspiracy stuff resurfacing. Okay. What was the one that got him in trouble again? What was the case that got Alex Jones in legal trouble? It was a shooting, right? Sandy Hook? I wanna say Sandy Hook, is that it? Sandy Hook defamation case. Let me get the current status since the financial and bankruptcy side has kept evolving. Okay, well, expand for me. I'm gonna go to the news. Let's see if anything here stands out. Oh, I want to summarize this next. Okay, 12 injured at water park? What? Agrees. Death of 5 children involved in collision. This is one of those things. Like, car accidents kill a lot of people. A lot of people. And it doesn't get nearly as much attention because we've just kind of become desensitized to vehicle accidents. New bill would allow Canadians to request companies delete their private data. Telling me that's not law? I thought you could always do that. Maybe that's just in the US, because I keep seeing ads trying to get you to pay for something. That then goes through and deletes data. Okay. Let's continue. That was the Sandy Hook defamation litigation. The case, really a pair of cases that essentially defined Jones legally and financially. The background: in December 2012, a gunman killed 21st. Oh my goodness. A gunman killed 21st graders and 6 educators at Sandy Hook. This is horrible. Like, we had a shooting incident in BC in Canada, without nearly, like, I think four people, an educator and 3 killed kids died, and then 2 were seriously injured, and 1 had like brain life-changing brain damage. But like, that's because they couldn't. This is what happens when a crazy person can easily get an assault style weapon, right? The casualties just go through the roof. Gunman killed 21st graders and 6 educators at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newton, Connecticut. For years afterwards, Jones repeatedly told his InfoWars audience that the massacre was a hoax, that it had been staged, and that the grieving parents were crisis actors who had faked their children's death. The issue you immediately come up with is that inside a government you can keep secrets. If you involve externals like crisis actors, the truth is just, it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out. And so, had this been a hoax, you would have heard about it, right? Like, you just would have heard about it. A secret is only as good as its weakest link. And, external crisis actors are not particularly strong links. As a direct consequences, many of those families suffered years of harassment. Oh my god. So not only did they lose a kid, they then suffered harassment, death threats, and stalking at the hands of Jones's followers. That is miserable. Like, as any individual going through that is a miserable experience. Like, the death of a kid is bad enough. The families, plus an FBI agent who responded to the shooting, sued him for defamation and intentionally infliction of emotional distress in 2 separate venues, Texas and Connecticut. Notably, Jones didn't lose these on the merit at trial in the usual sense. Judges in both states found him liable by default because he repeatedly refused to comply with court orders and turned over evidence. So juries were left only to decide how much he owed. Okay, what is this? Jones didn't lose on the merit at trial in the usual sense. Judges in both states found him liable by default because he repeatedly refused to comply with court orders. So he didn't argue it. He repeatedly refused to comply with court orders, and he repeatedly refused to turn over evidence. So juries were left only to decide how much he owed. So he didn't even fight it. He lost by default because he didn't do the necessary measures to fight the case. Which means you lose. How much do you owe? The damages were staggering. In the Texas case, a jury ordered him to pay about $49 million to Sandy Hook parents. In the Connecticut case, a jury awarded $964 million and the judge then added another $473 million in punitive damages against Jones and Free Speech Systems, InfoWars parent company, pushing the combined totals to roughly 1.4 to 1.5 billion. Whoa. Whoa. I mean, when you got a following like that, you got to be really careful. Like, and the issue is you've got to be right. Like, it wasn't a hoax. Since then, it's been a long fight over whether the families can actually collect. Jones and Free Speech Systems filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2012 and 2022. Connecticut appealed court in 2025 largely upheld the verdict, trimming it down to about 1.3 billion by throwing out one 150 million portion tied to a state trade practices law. And in October 2025, the Supreme Court rejected Jones' appeal without comment. The most colorful wrinkle in the bankruptcy liquidation, the satirical outlet The Onion was named the winning bidder in a November 2024 auction to buy InfoWars assets with backing from some Sandy Hook family. But the bankruptcy judge threw out the auction results over problems with the process. The effort to sell off InfoWars then moved to Texas State Court, where a receiver was appointed to liquidate the assets, and Jones is appealing that too. Some of his personal property is being sold as well. This is worth keeping in mind in light of everything we've discussed. The man behind the Bohemian Grove footage isn't a neutral documentarian. He was found liable for spreading defaming falsehoods about murdered children and their families, and a jury and multiple appeals courts have held him to account for it. That doesn't automatically make any single claim of his false. The Grove footage is real, as we covered, but it's a strong reason to treat his interpretation of what he films with heavy skepticism, since a court has formally established that he's willing to broadcast destructive falsehoods. Whoa. Like, all I can think about is the parents that have had a child, or the family that have had a family member that have died, and then people calling you up saying it's a hoax, that it's giving you death threats after you just lost a kid. Like that is a terrible thing to put someone through. I always hate it when they use an incident to try and push a narrative. Like that's one of those things. Like these people, the families were hurting enough without accusations of a hoax being thrown on top of it. Okay, well, all the conspiracy theories that I've looked up today are turning out to be false. And I was kind of hoping that, maybe there's some conspiracy theories that were real. Let's start a new one.